You know what you want to do? Now you have a resume, which is a career asset. Now you're ready to take fast action to start applying. But Anna, where do I apply? Do I deliver my resume to stores and locations, or do I leverage job boards? My recommendation to be a modern day savvy job seeker is look at boards like Indeed and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my favorite. You can also look for industry networking events. You can also look at professional groups. Growing up in sales, I used to say, always be selling. The same applies when you are in an active job search. Tell people that you are in an active job search and watch what might happen. So now you're leveraging these job boards, and don't just apply to one job. For heaven's sakes, you need to cast a little bit of a wider net, especially in a competitive market. I want to share an interesting statistic that is called to women out there that historically, women won't apply to a job unless they feel like they 100% qualify for the job. Men, on the other hand, will apply if they hit about 60% of the qualifications. So, I want to encourage everyone to apply. As a recruiter, job descriptions are sometimes not the best written, but you have to work with what you have. So, you want to be sure that you take action and, share your resume in a variety of different places and test it out. Is it working? Are you getting interviews? Are people responding to you? If not, then you might need to make some adjustments to that resume content. So once you see a job posting, how do you look at that data and decide, yeah, I'm totally qualified, I could rock this job? What you want to do is make sure that you understand the industry and the business and look at those skills and the description of what you're going to be doing in that role. Go back to your skills inventory and see if you connect the dots. If yes, that oftentimes gives you an opportunity to envision yourself in that role doing that type of work. You can use that data again to create a cover letter or in your follow-up messages. So let's talk about cover letters. Personally, I feel cover letters are like so 1990. And as a recruiter, most of my peers, we agree that we really could just light the cover letter on fire and be done with it. However, there are many organizations that still require it. So if they do, I highly recommend that you hyper-personalize the message that you're sending. Watch the number of times that you write the word I, because here's a little secret. It's not about what you want. I want the job. I want to work there. I am really good at these things. It's about positioning the language to demonstrate confidence that you can solve the problem for the company that you're applying to. Because essentially, a job description is a problem in that business that they're looking for a person to come in and solve. So you've made the application, and then you're like, am I gonna hear back? And then you, ding, get the disqualification email. Anna, I know, this is terrible. I get messages all the time, I got ghosted, I didn't get feedback. Here's a couple reasons why you may be getting disqualified. There's a variety of different reasons. You may not have the relevant skills. They could be mismatched. You could, maybe you have gaps in your employment. Maybe you did get the interview, but your interview was a little meh. Didn't really stand out. Maybe you didn't follow the instructions in the application process. Maybe just the content in your resume didn't speak to the decision maker. Could have been very competitive as well. One thing to really think about when you're in a job search is what's out there on the World Wide Web and how are you perceived in the digital space. A modern day job searcher and modern day recruiters, we're looking at the resume, but we're also looking at your LinkedIn profile. We might just search up your name in Google. And so if you haven't buttoned up your internet presence and you are in a job search, this is your invitation. So that's how you start your strategy. The last thing is, since 2020, a lot of people have gaps in their experience. And I want to tell you that it's okay and to own that gap. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, thank you so much for asking that. I had to resign to take care of a family member. But when you describe the gap, you could also say, what I did during that time while I was taking care of my mom was I attended networking events. I leveled up my LinkedIn skills. I did some freelance pro bono work. I took an Excel class. Anything that you can say to show that you've kept your skills out and stayed plugged in to what's happening in the market. If you do have to explain a gap, be confident, own it, and try not to give too much detail. Because since COVID, organizations have realized that we're just more than employees. We're sisters and parents and, volunteers. We do so much more outside of the workplace. So those are some tips to jumpstart and accelerate your strategy. Now, you might be sending out applications and not necessarily getting results. So we're gonna dive into that.
Let's say you've applied and you get that interview. This is your opportunity to make the best first impression possible, and there's a few ways to do so. You want to start by researching questions, specifically the tough questions that you think you could be asked in the interview. Write out your answers and practice them so what you're saying comes across as coherent and smooth. Beyond that, practicing your answers helps reduce anxiety so you feel calm and confident on your interview. When you're being asked questions, listen carefully to what the interviewer is asking you. Too often, people lose the job opportunity because they don't answer the question that was asked. For example, if the interview is asking you about a time you failed, don't hit them with your most miraculous achievement or a time you're successful. That's not what they're looking for. What they want to know is, how do you handle failure? Do you learn from your mistakes and try again? Do you persevere in the face of adversity? Do you maintain your emotional intelligence and stay calm even when things are frustrating and overwhelming? Or do you give up easily? Do you throw a tantrum when things don't go your way? They're looking for how you persevere and how you handle difficult situations. So trying to spin the question to make yourself look like you're perfect actually works against you in this regard. When you're in the interview, it's equally important that you ask them questions as well. Asking them questions serves a few purposes. It shows that you're prepared, that you've done your research about this company or this organization. It also shows that you care about the position being a good fit as well, as in you're not looking for just any old job, you're looking for a position where you can thrive and feel connected to the mission and vision of what this organization is trying to accomplish. And asking questions gives you important information about this company's culture. You can go on Google and look for lots of great questions to ask, but the key is to make it personal to you. For example, rather than asking, how do you give feedback to a new employee, you can ask something along the lines of, how will you give me feedback to ensure that I'm learning and growing successfully in this position? By doing so, you're showing them that you feel connected to this purpose, and you're showing them that you care about your growth and development as a professional. And just like how you would practice your answers for questions that they're going to ask you, you preparing questions to ask of them and considering what answers you're looking for gives you the opportunity to learn whether or not this is truly a good fit for you in the long term.
In that conversation, there are some critical details that you want to make sure that you get out of that conversation, in addition to selling yourself as an absolute perfect fit for the role. So what do you want to know? You want to know why the position is open, how long it's been open, where are they in the process? And say you also want to talk about the working conditions. Is it hybrid? Is it remote? Is it on-site? Is it first shift, night shift? You want to get all those details. And I highly recommend talking about money early and often. And people ask me all the time, How do I answer the question when a recruiter says, "What are your salary expectations?" Sassy side of me says, answer the question with the question. Say, "Thank you so much for asking. Can you tell me what the company has budgeted for this role? And then I'm happy to tell you where my salary goals fall within your budget." Perfect. Then nobody's feelings get hurt. You're not at the finish line trying to, ask for a ton more money that's not in the budget, and you are way more likely to land that opportunity.
Beyond asking and answering questions, there's a lot that goes into the interview which gives the potential employer a complete picture of who you are as a professional. Let's talk a little bit about both your appearance and your behaviors in the interview. For your appearance, you want to be the most polished professional version of yourself. Don't try to be someone that you're not. However, you want to be that version of yourself that came fully prepared and feels good about coming to this interview. For example, let's say that your truest, most authentic self has bright purple hair. If you feel like that is your authentic self, I don't think you should have to change it to get a job. In fact, long term, you probably won't be very happy if you have to do so. That said, if having purple hair is you being your most authentic self, make sure you have a fresh dye job that day, as in it's the brightest purple ever, and that your hair is combed and clean. Make sure that your clothes are free of wrinkles and cat hair or dog hair and stains. Make sure that your dress code matches theirs. For example, a number of my clients are in public health, and public health tends to be a little bit more casual than, say, the corporate world. In public health, most people wear khakis, polo shirts, business casual. It'd be weird to roll into an interview wearing a three-piece suit, corporate tie, briefcase, because that's just not the culture. That said, if it is a Fortune 500 company you're applying to, and it is a corporate culture that veers more traditional in the dress, make sure that you're adhering to that dress code. When in doubt, go a little bit nicer, and it's always okay to ask ahead of time what that dress code is before you get to the interview. Avoid things that are distracting in your outfit. Any jangly bracelets, dangly earrings, any piercings that might be a little bit distracting for the interviewer. Anything that might make it look like the outfit is drawing more attention than you are. That said, you still want to be yourself. Make sure that you feel comfortable in what you're wearing and that you're projecting the truest sense of who you are. To be someone that you're not means the grand prize is getting a job that you may hate, and that's not what we want for you. Finally, make sure that you're doing things like making eye contact, giving a firm handshake, and taking notes. Taking notes shows that you're prepared, that you care about the answers, and that you're deeply considering both the questions and the answers that are being asked of you and that you are asking in return. All of these behaviors connect to show that you are a competent, confident, enthusiastic professional. And really, that's who people want to work with. They want to work with someone who shows that they care, that they're organized, and that they have it together. Finally, let's talk a little bit about logistics. Make sure in part of your preparation and the behaviors that you're showing to the interviewer that you know things ahead of time, like what the parking situation is, exactly what office in the building you're going to be going to, who's going to be interviewing you, and any other pieces you may need to know. For instance, are you going to be interviewed by multiple people? How long do you think the interview might take? Knowing all of these things in advance helps you prepare. It has the added benefit of reducing anxiety. So if you're nervous, don't add on additional stress by getting there and not realizing you don't know where to park, you have no idea where to go or who you're asking for. Be prepared. It helps reduce anxiety and shows that you're a competent, enthusiastic professional.
Thank you for watching Adults Seeking Knowledge. You're now armed with insights and tips, and I really hope that you feel more equipped to tackle the job market with confidence and precision. Remember, every job application is a stepping stone, and it's not just towards the next job, but it's towards the art of mastering and embodying possibility. As your career BFF, I'm here to remind you, don't chase opportunities, create them. Take action, and you will turn possibilities into realities. So go out there, show the world your unique strengths, and never forget, you've got this.
My sincerest wish for you is that you follow some of this guidance and grow into a career that you love and that you're passionate about, because there's nothing more fulfilling than contributing in a way that feels good and knowing that you're on the right path. Thank you.